From the moment Sonic the Hedgehog first sped onto the gaming scene in 1991, he was more than just a mascot. He was a statement. Where his contemporaries represented careful precision and methodical platforming, Sonic was reckless momentum, a blue blur racing forward with no guarantee of what lay ahead. His gameplay encouraged players to surrender to speed, to trust in the movement rather than calculation. This philosophy did not just define how Sonic played, it shaped the very identity of the franchise, embedding itself into its narratives, its characters, and even the turbulent path of its development history. In this video, we'll examine how the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise has been shaped by its relationship with chaos, both in the gameplay that challenges players to balance speed and control, to the unpredictable evolution of the series as a whole. By exploring its mechanics, its themes, and the real-world decisions that have steered its course, we can better understand why Sonic has endured despite, and perhaps because of, the very chaos that so often threatens to consume it. One of the core defining features of Sonic the Hedgehog's gameplay is the franchise's distinct approach to speed and momentum. Unlike many traditional platformers where players are encouraged to carefully plan each jump and movement with precision, Sonic introduces a more dynamic and less predictable experience. Here, the player's primary goal isn't to meticulously chart every step, but to maintain Sonic's momentum as he hurtles forward, often without knowing what lies ahead. This element of unpredictability is central to the Sonic experience. Players must let go of the need for total control and trust in the flow of the game. The level design reinforces this interplay between speed and chaos. Early levels such as Green Hill Zone ease players into this mechanic, providing open areas and rolling hills that encourage acceleration, while later levels like Metropolis Zone feature conveyor belts, shifting platforms, and enemy placements that disrupt Sonic's natural flow to ensure that players must constantly adjust, react, and adapt to the world around them. Additionally, the Sonic series has long included multiple pathways within its levels, reinforcing the idea that chaos is something to be navigated rather than avoided. Skilled players who maintain their speed may find themselves on the uppermost routes, soaring over hazards. However, faltering does not always lead to a game over. Players may be forced to take a slower, more dangerous, lower path, but there is a way forward. This design philosophy highlights the idea that chaos is not inherently negative. It presents challenges, but also opportunities for mastery. This sense of unpredictability, while at times frustrating, is also what makes Sonic such a unique and memorable experience in the platforming genre. The Chaos Emeralds are among the most iconic elements of the Sonic series, serving as both a gameplay mechanic and a crucial narrative device. These 7 gemstones grant incredible abilities, but they also introduce instability into the world, reinforcing the game's overarching theme of chaos. The Emerald's power is most clearly demonstrated through Sonic's transformation into Super Sonic. When all 7 Emeralds are collected, Sonic becomes an unstoppable force, capable of immense speed and near invulnerability. However, this power is fleeting, requiring constant replenishment of energy in the form of rings. This limitation underscores the precarious nature of power in the Sonic universe. No matter how strong one becomes, maintaining control over chaos is a continuous effort. The Emeralds have also served as a catalyst for conflict throughout the series. Villains such as Dr. Robotnik, who we will be exploring more in the next section, seek to use them for their own ends, often underestimating the instability of their power. In Sonic Adventure, the Emeralds play a direct role in unleashing the character Chaos, an ancient being that grows stronger with each emerald it absorbs. By the time it reaches its final form, Perfect Chaos, it has transformed an entire city into a flooded wasteland, showcasing the catastrophic consequences of unchecked power. Beyond their destructive potential, the Emeralds also serve as a metaphor for the pursuit of control in an unpredictable world. Whether in the hands of heroes or villains, they amplify existing strengths and weaknesses, demonstrating that chaos is not something that can be fully tamed, only temporarily harnessed. Dr. Robotnik, or Eggman, is the primary antagonist of the Sonic series, and a character who exemplifies the paradox of chaos through control. His ambitions center around imposing his vision of order on the world, yet his methods often lead to greater destruction and instability. Robotnik's approach to domination is primarily industrial. Throughout the series, he is seen converting natural landscapes into mechanical fortresses, polluting once pristine environments with his factories, and transforming organic life into robotic minions. This is evident in levels such as Chemical Plant Zone, where toxic waste fills the landscape, and Oil Ocean Zone, where an endless sea of crude oil replaces water. Despite his meticulous planning and scientific genius, Robotnik's creations are frequently unstable. In his pursuit of absolute control, he ironically creates more chaos than anyone else. This ongoing cycle highlights a central theme in the Sonic series. Efforts to impose order often result in greater instability. While Sonic the Hedgehog thrives on the theme of chaos, both in gameplay and narrative, this same pursuit of unpredictability and innovation has, at times, led to significant missteps in the franchise's history. The Sonic team's willingness to experiment and embrace instability has resulted in some of gaming's most exhilarating moments, but it has also led to inconsistent design choices, failed mechanics, and divisive titles that struggle to balance chaos with coherent execution. One of the most notable examples of this is Sonic the Hedgehog, or Sonic 06, a game infamous for its rushed development, broken mechanics, and confusing narrative. In an attempt to push the series forward, the developers introduced a more serious storyline, realistic human characters, and multiple playable characters with distinct playstyles. However, rather than feeling like an ambitious evolution of the franchise, turned what could have been a bold new chapter into one of gaming's most notorious failures. Another example is in Sonic Unleashed and the introduction of the Werehog, a slow brawler-style gameplay mode that was meant to contrast with Sonic's high-speed daytime stages. However, these nighttime Werehog stages often overstayed their welcome, and rather than creating a balanced duality, it fragmented the experience, frustrating players who expected fast-paced platforming. The transition to 3D in general has often highlighted the difficulties of managing chaos in Sonic's design. While titles like Sonic Adventure were praised for their ambition, they also introduced awkward camera angles and imprecise platforming, issues that have persisted in many subsequent entries. The very same design philosophy that made Sonic exhilarating in 2D has proven far more difficult to translate into a 3D space without losing coherence. Despite these circumstances, the Sonic team continues to embrace the unpredictable nature of the franchise, experimenting with different gameplay styles, mechanics, and artistic directions. While this willingness to embrace chaos has been responsible for some of the series' most divisive failures, it has also led to its most successful innovations and subsequently, Sonic's continued relevance to this day. The transition of Sonic the Hedgehog from video games to the big screen has been anything but smooth. From a disastrous first impression to an eventual turnaround that won over both longtime fans and general audiences, the Sonic movie franchise embodies the same chaotic energy that defines the games: unpredictable, sometimes messy, but ultimately full of momentum. The most infamous moment in the Sonic movie saga occurred in 2019 when Paramount Pictures unveiled the first trailer for Sonic the Hedgehog. The reaction was overwhelmingly negative, with fans and critics alike recoiling at Sonic's bizarre design. The backlash was immediate and intense, leading to a rare instance of a major film studio completely overhauling a character's design before release. But it ultimately paid off, as the redesigned Sonic was widely praised and contributed to the film's success. A major factor in the film's chaotic energy comes from the casting of actors known for their high-energy, unpredictable performances. Ben Schwartz, the voice of Sonic, has a long history of portraying fast-talking, hyperactive, and somewhat mischievous characters, such as John Ralphio Saperstein from Parks and Recreation. His quick delivery and natural comedic timing made him a perfect fit for Sonic's playful and rebellious personality. Meanwhile, Jim Carrey's portrayal of Dr. Robotnik fully embraced his signature brand of physical comedy and manic energy, reminiscent of his performances in Ace Ventura and The Mask. Carrey's Robotnik is an eccentric, egotistical, and widely expressive villain whose unpredictable outbursts and exaggerated movements add to the film's chaotic nature. Much like Sonic himself, the films have faced obstacles but have managed to turn chaos into success, proving that sometimes a little unpredictability can work in their favor. Ultimately, Sonic the Hedgehog is a franchise defined by its relationship with chaos. When given direction, it results in thrilling and beloved experiences. But when left unchecked, it leads to inconsistency, divisiveness, and failure. This tension between speed and control, risk and reward, has shaped every iteration of the franchise, from the fast and fun physics of the original games to the experimental highs and lows of 3D entries and Hollywood adaptations. The challenge for both developers and filmmakers of the Sonic franchise moving forward is the same one that players face while controlling Sonic himself: harnessing the chaos, maintaining momentum, and reaching the finish line without losing control.